Hello, welcome to Business on News Desk. My name is Darryl Kwao. There's a lot happening with ADB, and elsewhere the pound is slipping as the Brexit battle goes on. Let's begin from home, though, with news that ADB is working to delist from the Ghana Stock Exchange. It's information we are gathering from our sources close to shareholders. This Business Desk report looks at what could have informed the move.
Sources say the development has been influenced by the change in ownership of the bank in terms of those with majority interest in ADB. This was after the Bank of Ghana reversed majority share acquisition by Bellstar Capital and Starmount Development Corporation, EcoBank Development Corporation and SIC Financial. It then resulted in Bank of Ghana and the Ministry of Finance taking controlling interest in the bank. It is, however, unclear for now what might have influenced this move, but sources say it has to do with how the whole initial public offering was done, which led to the takeover of the bank by some private firms. Therefore, it might be right for the delisting to be done to reflect the change in ownership of the bank. It is still unclear for now whether a separate special resolution would be tabled at the upcoming general meeting next week, or it will be done after that meeting. Persons close to the proposals have also argued it could be looked at even after the AGM next week. Sources say there are plans to pay off those retail investors that bought into the bank if the plan to delist materializes. A little over 122 million ADB shares were listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange in December last year. The share price had gone up by more than 70% to hit 5 cedis 95 pesos post-listing on the Ghana Stock Exchange.
All right, let's get some perspective to this latest move by ADB from financial analyst Dr. Lord Mensah.
It gives you a signal that the new shareholders possibly might have a strong information, and therefore, in the end, the public perception on that firm is different. That is why possibly they want to coil in, they want to delist and then restructure and polish themselves before they come to public. Remember, the stock exchange has to do with information. And in the end, if the information out there is not that strong for public consumption, obviously the new shareholders needs to react and then possibly find a way to polish and then come back to the exchange. We've had this happening, across exchanges. Companies, they list, and then over time, they come back and list. So I'm not surprised to see that once there's a change in ownership.
What kind of impact will this have on the stock market? Some have argued that it might not be good for stock market development.
Yeah, for stock market development, I think across Africa, we've been crying out loud, when it comes to financial development, the stock market. For now, we normally use the banking sector to gauge the financial sector development across the Africa. So it's something that will affect the market, but then we hope that it's going to be a temporary delisting and possibly coming back permanent.
Well, we'll still stay with the stock market. In another development, the Ghana Stock Exchange says it is worried about the inability of the Energy Bank to raise the required funds to list on the market. Energy Commercial Bank failed to raise the minimum amount for its 340 million IPO target. This forced the bank to abandon the process of listing on the exchange from next year. Managing Director Kofi Amwa tells Joy Business this is not good for market development.
It's not good development for the market because certainly we're expecting it to be the second company on the main list in 2018. But the bottom line is that they were not able to meet the minimum subscription that they set out for. And so under the Companies Act, they have to return all those funds to applicants. We believe that if the company is desirous of doing that in the future, then following from whatever discussions that some of us read in the newspapers, they can do so in the course of the years, medium-term to long-term arrangement. We always welcome them if they do that.
Are there more companies hoping to list on this circuit?
Certainly not before end year 2018, but definitely it has always been our target to bring many more companies onto the market, especially for them to raise fixed income securities and be able to do better as far as their portfolio is concerned.
Any prospects for the future?
The immediate prospects for 2019 will be for us to target the alternate market and bring many of the applications that we have received into conclusion in 2019.
All right, let's take you to the UK. The British pound has trimmed earlier gains after Conservative lawmakers voted to back Prime Minister Theresa May in a vote of confidence in her leadership.
The pound slipped back from its highs of earlier on Wednesday, even though Prime Minister Theresa May won the vote of confidence in her leadership. After the results dipped to $1.26, having hit a high of almost $1.27 earlier. Of the 317 Conservative MPs, 200 backed the Prime Minister, but 117 voted against her. XTB online trading said the far from comprehensive victory had caused some selling on the markets. Currency traders had expected Mrs. May to win the confidence vote, and the pound traded ahead for much of Wednesday. The challenge to Mrs. May was brought by Conservative MPs who said Mrs. May's deal with the EU had watered down the Brexit that voters were promised in the 2016 referendum. Her decision to cancel Tuesday's parliamentary vote on the deal prompted them to back a no-confidence vote. Mrs. May had meetings with European leaders on Tuesday, seeking support for changes to her Brexit deal in a last-ditch bid to save it. She will discuss further changes at an EU summit on Thursday. The European Union has ruled out renegotiating the divorce agreement. Parliament is set to vote on a deal before the 21st of January.
All right, that's all in business for now. There's more news after this break.